Me and John Mark were just reading the Bible here, and it said, in the beginning, before all time, was the Word, Christ. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God himself. He was present originally with God. All things were made and came into existence through him, and without him was not even one thing made that has come into being. So that's John chapter 1 and the first couple verses, Amplified Version. And then we were reading over here where the Bible says, it's another, you can't see it, but it's there, where the Bible says in Matthew 11:28, it says, then Jesus said, come unto me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. And then I was saying to John Mark, I said, man, I said, Jesus, the God of the universe, the God who made everything, the King of kings and the Lord of lords, said, if you come to me, then Jesus said, Jesus, God, the King of the whole universe said, come unto me, all of you who are weary and you carry heavy burdens, and I, the God of the universe, will give you, little old you, rest. And you think, wow, because they didn't have heavy burdens sitting next to them. They were carrying them. That means they were moving through life with a heavy burden. And they didn't just start carrying it a minute ago. They were weary. That means they've been carrying it for a long time, right? And what did Jesus say about religious people? He said, you religious people, you put heavy burdens on the people, but you don't lift them yourself. People invent religions and say, okay, everybody's got to get up at midnight and do 100 push-ups or you're not going to heaven.
Oh, yeah, do that.
Or whatever. So, you know, they make up these religions, whatever a religion says. And even Christians...
You can do a religion, but...
Even Christians put religious mandates and burdens on themselves. But Jesus said, come to him, you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. And I thought, how many people are exhausted from carrying a heavy burden of condemnation and guilt or stress and worry or regret or pain or whatever, right? They're carrying a heavy burden, right? And they look up at a church steeple or they look up at a religion of any kind, and the last thing they're going to do is go, I'm not going to go over to those people. They're just going to load more burdens on me. But hopefully when they look at my church or your church, or when they know about you as a Christian, or when they know about Jesus, or those of us who represent Jesus, they say, hey man, I'm carrying this heavy burden. I'm going to go to RD. I'm going to go to John Mark. I'm going to go to Bill, Cindy, John, Sarah. I'm going to go to that Christian I know. And I'm going to bring this burden because they told me about Jesus. And they said, Jesus said to come to him with my heavy burdens and when I'm weary, and he'll give me rest. He said, take my yoke upon you and let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For Jesus said, my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light. When you yoke up with Jesus, it's not a new religious mandate. No, he says, I'll give you rest. Hopefully that's the Jesus I represent and you represent. When they look up at us, they don't say, I am exhausted with this heavy burden. I've been carrying this thing. And they look up at us, and hopefully they look up at us and say, oh boy, not him, not her. Hopefully they're saying, oh yeah, man, I'm going to go tell them, because they told me about Jesus who gives you rest.